Good afternoon and welcome to Solent Sports News. It's 4 o'clock and I'm Doug Webber. We start with cricket. England have been humbled in their opening test down under. New Zealand won by an innings and 65 runs in Mount Maunganui. However, their victory has been overshadowed by alleged racial abuse directed at Jofra Archer. Former England bowler Graham Onions spoke to Sky Sports News about the allegation.
It's the first I've ever heard of it. I mean, that one guy shouldn't be allowed in a cricket match again, really. So it's the first I've heard, and I don't think there's a problem. But obviously, this is worrying. It needs to be investigated.
Saints returned from the international break with a 2-2 draw against Arsenal. It could have been even better if it wasn't for Alexander Lacazette's 94th minute equaliser. They stay 19th in the Premier League table. Manager Ralph Hasenhüttl had this to say on his team's performance.
I think it was a really good performance, really energetic, believing in what we are doing. The last 2 weeks we tried to build something up, to find back to our roots, to our fundamentals, and because we knew that it's the only way and the only chance to find back in a more successful time.
Disability is much more than a physical and mental difference. It's about the limits everyday life imposes. Team Solent Sharks held their taster sessions for anybody willing to give wheelchair rugby a go. Our reporter Harrison Reid went to the Solent Sports Complex to learn more about the accessible sport.
That was the sound of Paralympic rugby, or better known to followers of the sport as murder ball. This sport can test and break anyone. Participants rocket around the court, pulling breathtaking manoeuvres and slamming into each other with bone-crushing metal on metal. I went to Team Solent Sharks to ask Chairman Peter Hull to shed some light on the ever-growing sport.
So wheelchair rugby, I think, first of all, really challenges the general public's perception of what, in inverted commas, is disability sport. You know, so many people are out there, when they give a wheelchair sport a go, they think, oh, this is going to be easy, it's only disabled people doing it, I'm going to smash this. But wheelchair rugby is full on, it's full contact. You know, chairs are built like mini tanks.
These mini tanks are being filled in record numbers. The club regularly does outreach at Salisbury Spinal Clinic to tempt patients with life-changing injuries to try something new, which is exactly how Sebastian Lee ultimately ended up attending his first training session on Saturday.
Oh, we were just playing some wheelchair rugby. It's our first time. So they came and saw me in the hospital, which was what opened my eyes to the opportunity here. So I had a little bit of a taste. You know, everyone has those little moments, those blips when you're thinking, you know, the what ifs, what does the future hold, and you know, the fact that we've still got an awesome sport that we can come and do like this is, keeps your spirits up. It's good. But it's amazing how much it tires you out and you are exhausted. I'm now dripping in sweat, yeah. So yeah, definitely intend to come as much as I can.
With an ever-growing club, the Cooperative Food Store have continued to support them financially through their national campaign of backing community sports teams. The money is imperative to sporting clubs such as the Solent Sharks, as member Pioneer manager Neil Williams tells me.
Well, I think this is actually going to allow them to purchase the resources that they need to enable sort of more people to become part of the wheelchair rugby club and actually sort of spread their reach around the community, because I can imagine that these wheelchairs are not cheap. They're, they've got to probably provide a lot of them themselves, so the funding is going to help them with their resources. And actually, they take quite knocks out there. They're going to need repairing. So this £4,300 is going to go hopefully a good way of helping maintain their equipment.
With the future of Paralympic rugby in safe hands, Tokyo 2020 is beginning to look very optimistic for this growing sport.
And our reporter Harrison Reid joins me in the studio now. So Harrison, wheelchair rugby is rarely in the public eye. What did you learn from covering the story?
Well, Doug, what I noticed straight away is that it's a sport for everyone. And it's amazing to see that people are leaving their disabilities at the door and getting stuck in. And there was people there without limbs, cerebral palsy, among other disabilities. And the chairman, Pete Hull, was very clear that this wasn't a disability sport and more of an adaptive sport.
And you've referred to the fact that there were a variety of reasons why people were getting involved. What did people seem to tell you that why they were getting involved?
So, as I touched upon during the package, they do a lot of outreach. And one of the places that they do that is Salisbury Spinal Clinic. So for people that may have experienced life-changing injuries, they may want to find something that can fulfill a void left because of their injury. And this sport can definitely do that. It's fast, fun and frantic, which for me are the key ingredients to a brilliant sport.
And finally, so if anyone's listening to this and thinking they want to get involved, how would they do so?
So the team train at Solent Sports Complex from 11 till 2 on Saturdays and always welcoming new players. Alternatively, you can find their Facebook by searching Team Solent Sharks.
Thanks for joining me, Harrison.
Thanks, Doug.
On to hockey. A GB hockey player is fighting for his career today. Sam Ward was struck in the face with a ball during an Olympic qualifier. The 28-year-old has sustained a crushed retina and facial fractures. Ward, who has scored 72 goals in 126 appearances for Great Britain and England, has yet to announce his retirement. In recent years, mixed martial arts has grown rapidly. The dangers of MMA are there for all to see. But here in Southampton, a tragedy has led to calls for the sport to be banned. Our reporter Valia Pilianidi has more.
I've heard about MMA, and I do find it a very dangerous sport. I've heard several case studies where people have been injured or have passed away, so I find it a very risky sport.
People may find MMA a great way to work out or even defend themselves when needed. What does happen though when this sport becomes dangerous for human health?
I had a classmate of mine. He used to do MMA just for fun on the weekends. And there was this one time they were practicing, and he got punched at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he just didn't wake up after that.
There are several cases where MMA is not that much fun. The punches and aggression this sport has might cause serious health issues.
Yes, those health issues will affect you in the long run, and also it can impact people around you. So if you get an injury, it'll impact your friends and family. I would definitely not do that. I'm too scared after what happened to that friend of mine, and I would rather not risk my life and risk other people's happiness around me.
Will people try MMA? Do they find it dangerous?
I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I think people know that they get hurt, and people who are okay with that do it, and if they're not okay, I guess they just don't do the sport or they like watching it.
I think it depends on the person. I do MMA, but I don't want to go into competitive fighting. My younger brother, he likes the adrenaline of hitting someone and someone hitting him, so he wants to do that.
I believe MMA is safer due to the fact that it's less likely to cause more damage to your brain, because boxing focuses heavily on hitting people in the head.
As we understand, it depends on the individual and the level of risk they are willing to take. Precautions are the main element they should definitely consider taking in any case. For Solent Sports News, Valia Pilianidi.
And finally, you'd be excused for thinking boxing is all about the big names in the heavyweight division. Your AJs, Furies and Wilders tend to dominate the sport's headlines, but the sport goes much further than that. I went to the capital to meet a pro boxer with a fascinating story. So we've just arrived at the Abbey Leisure Centre in Barking, East London. We're about to head inside and meet a super flyweight boxer by the name of Casey Kademi, whose story is truly inspiring. Casey was born in Afghanistan. Him and his family fled Kabul following the Taliban's invasion of the capital city.
It was a long route. I think it took about a year and a half or 2 years.
They travelled across many countries before settling in the UK.
From the beginning, that when we start the journey, our mentality was to get here, and that was the goal. My family come from a background when they have something set in their mind, they have to do it.
From London via Afghanistan, Casey Kademi.
So we've just come into the boxing gym now. everything has Casey's name on it. Everything's branded. You walk into the boxing gym and it's his poster for his fight coming up. We were able to have a quick chat with his sparring partner, Lucian Reid.
He's got these mad angles that you just don't know where he is. He's elusive, he's powerful, he's very, very quick. I'm fortunate enough to have to spar him. I'm just proud to know him because he's a lovely fella.
Oh, nice work from Kademi. Throws the hook with the left and gets through the guard with that right.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
His coach, Johnny Ames, is a hard taskmaster, but he speaks very fondly of Casey.
The first time I met Casey, we was in the old gym, and he came into the gym with about 7 or 8 other Afghani guys. My friend stuck his head in, come out, he went, he's in the ring, he was the smallest one, and he's in their sparring room, all no head guards, banging the life out of each other. Obviously I noticed he had the talent. Something clicked between me and Casey. I like to think now I'm like his second father, to be honest with you.
I'll be the first ever Afghan to win under 10 fight, so that's a history in making, and we want to be the first Afghan British kid world title. Afghan is where I'm born and Britain is my country, so I represent both. Well, what's when you dare the fight, man, you notice the real fighting vibe.
With fighting talk like that, we will wait with bated breath for fight night on the 14th of December at York Hall in Bethnal Green. Doug Webber, Solent Sports News, Barking. And that's all from us for now. We'll be back next Monday with more of the latest sports news. Remember, you can keep up to date on our website, solentjournalism.co.uk.